Hello everybody, once again to our channel Going Vocal. Today we have a very important topic which is close to my heart, and I also believe that this is the topic which everyone should participate, should listen fully, and we will here touch upon the various aspects of this topic, and we'll see how our panelists, Mr. Hemant and Mr. Suresh, handles this topic and gives us insights about the very dynamic topic that we are going to discuss today. The topic in hand for today is the art of communication. Since childhood, we have already been discussed a lot of times that communication is very important, but we never have been a deep insights on this topic, which is called communication. Whenever we speak about communication, we think only about speaking to someone, or we forget about listening skills. And also, since childhood, we have been uh, taught in various school and school curriculum as well that how we should speak. Then, whenever we are in public or whenever we are talking to anybody else at home, and also maybe to a stranger. But in practical sense, we will see today with our expert panelists over here that how communication is important and how the communication in their life has played a different role altogether in various aspects of their career maybe, and also how the communication changes when they talk to certain people whom they know. So my first question goes to Mr. Suresh, that
Yes.
you have a long career over here. In your long career, how did you knew to distinguish between how whenever you are speaking to your colleagues and when you are at home or speaking to people whom you know, what's the difference? What's the different type of approach that you took, that I should be speaking to my colleagues whom I'm trying to maybe making a point or making them understand something or to communicate anything about the work that you are doing, and the same, how's your tone and how's your way of communicating when you are at home or maybe with someone who you already know. So, yeah.
Yes, good evening to all. Let us start with what is communication. Communication is the mutual exchange of ideas, information, and knowledge. Since our toddler days, we used to communicate. That may not be through spoken language, but by through actions. When you are a child, you could not speak, but you can. If you are crying for a milk, then the mother definitely knows that the child cries for milk. So that is also a way of communication. When a child cries for milk, it is a way of communication. Child talking to child, signaling to his mother for milk. When he or she gets uh, older, they began to speak. So, as you said, communication, it is not only speaking. A communicator is a good listener also. So you have to listen what the others are saying, then reply. And coming back to your question, the intonation, that means the tone you speak, is important while in your office or in home. At home, you are a social being. You can speak in a casual way to your wife, children, or relatives because they are not strangers. There is no need for formality. So, inside the home, the communication is what you call informal. You can say anything. You can get angry, or you can uh, communicate in simple sentences, or you can even communicate with the gestures to your family members. But inside an office, there should be some decorum. So you cannot um, dictate to your boss or your superiors. There you have to show your patience, your obedience, your discipline, etc. If you are an army man, you cannot get into an argument with your superiors. Similarly, in police or any other government office, even if you are in a private sector, in an IT company, you should respect your seniors. So the communication there will be formal. You have to be what you call, the sentence should be clear. There should be clarity, because in office the communication revolves around official matters. So the listener should understand what you are communicating. So there you should use polite words, and also clarity in your words. The sentences should be clear, which should understand the listeners. Similarly, if you are a subordinate in an office, the superiors may sometimes, the tone, the intonation may change. If a army brigadier talks to a soldier, then his tone will be different. That is, the brigadier may be ordering something to the soldier. So here communication, uh, although a formal one, becomes what you call a rough one, because in military you should maintain, in military or police you should maintain the discipline. So the superiors have to sometimes be arrogant and rough to the subordinates. That is also a way of communication. Even if you communicate to your subordinates in a rude manner, that sometimes can be justified, especially in police and armed forces. But if you are a doctor consulting examining a patient, that their intonation may be different from the brigadier or the armed forces, because the doctor should be very patient, very resilient, and communicate with the patient. So in every sector, in an office, that communication, the mode of communication becomes different. That depends on the nature of your work and the office. In any case, the basic principles of communication, clarity in what you are communicating, and that should be in simple sentence or words that should be understood by the listeners. And even if you are writing, communication also can be written. That should be in simple language, which you can understand to every ordinary people. So we can talk a lot about communication. When I hear responses from you two, I will respond later.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Suresh, for detailing this. So, as I understood, you're saying the tone or intonation will change when we are talking to, or maybe when we are in office, or when we are at home. We will have a different approach of communication. So,
Yes.
I think, and you also pinched or pitched a very important point that clarity in communication is very important, even when we are at office or at home. So the key is clarity of information. Now, clarity of communication. Now, I have question to him, and so a very important point touched by Mr. Suresh, saying that he took examples from army. So, if suppose a soldier has to communicate something to his brigadier or anyone, maybe in office as well, if I am talking to someone who is senior to me or has some authoritarian power, what should be my approach? How should I speak to him? How should be my tone? And should I be fearless, or I should fear something, or something which he might be offended by my being very frank to him? So what should be my approach? This is my genuine question, and I think many viewers who are watching this channel would have this genuine question to themselves, and they might also have come across this many times. So, normal question to you, but very important one. So let's hear it out from you, Hemant.
Yeah, thank you, Anupam, and thank you, Suresh, sir. Yes, very valid question, because all of us go through such a situation. I myself, when I was in the corporate, have gone through such situations where I had to put across something to the superior or to the top management. But yes, the fear, sometimes what happens is what you intend to say doesn't come out with clarity. So the basic thing about communication is you need not fear. Your superior is there as a guide. We all have various levels in organization. Just as Suresh sir was talking about the army. So even in corporate, you have right from the managing director, you have people down the level. That is basically to get things moving very cohesively and with well coordination as a team. So when you are presenting something to your superior, the first thing is you need not fear. I think you should remove fear should not be there. So if you are putting across a question to your superior, the first thing is you should be very clear about what you are asking, what question you are going to put across. Of course, you have to respect the position that your superior holds. There is no doubt about it. It is not like presenting the same question to your colleague or somebody down below you. So you need to respect your superior. At the same time, you can be very assertive in the way you say assertive is different from aggressive. Uh, Assertiveness is taking a firm stance in what you are going to put across. Then, most important thing when we are working in an organization, any or any thing that we ask the superior, it is finally for the good of the organization. So we need to put that across in such a way that dear Mr. So and so or dear sir or whatever. I think sir is no more the way people address their superiors. So dear Mr. So and so, this is what I am planning to do, or this is the kind of budget I require for executing such and such a plan. So if we do this, then we'll be achieving so and so results within a specified amount of time. So, what is your take on this? I mean, I would like your sanction or approval for this. At the same time, I would also request your advice on how to make minor adjustments so that we can implement this effectively. So, as I said, the tone, as Fraser said, the understanding of the situation, the understanding of the organization, the intent, what you intend to achieve. If you have a clarity on all this, I think even to a superior, you can present your case very effectively. So, as you said, it all depends on clarity, what you want to say and what you want to. Very important.
Thanks a
Yes.
lot, Hemant, for your views. I think the gist of it is we have to be fearless, we have to be frank, we should focus more on content rather than to whom we are delivering. Of course, the authoritarian people will be there, they will be questioning you. We have to be straightforward and be honest, and we should be able to put our point forward. So, next comes is in communication is the audience. We have seen that there can be when we are delivering some lectures or maybe when we are talking to somebody, there can be different audiences. There can be audiences when somebody from our relatives has visited us. There might be some senior members, senior citizens, or maybe some they are along with some their kids. So whenever we are talking to kids, we will be speaking something differently to keep them engaged. I think the span of attention of kids are very less. So I think in communication, audience plays a very important role to whom we are talking and the way we should approach maybe our tone, or we should also modify some content based on the audience that to whom we are delivering. So, a question to Mr. Suresh, how do you think, how do you address this point where how if there will be an audience of maybe if you are asked to deliver a speech to an audience of maybe around mid 40s or mid 50s, uh, and if there are some audience who are just in college, maybe some teenagers, so how would you differentiate and what will be your content, and how will you make sure that they stay focused whenever you are delivering your speech to them? So yeah, question to you, Mr. Suresh.
Okay, okay, okay. In my opinion, first the target audience we should estimate. We should not underestimate the target audience because the audience comprises of people who may be better educated than us or better knowledge than us. So we cannot underestimate the audience. So if we should make clarity, we should prepare in advance that the audience is very qualified, educated. So we should not make any mistake while delivering a speech. So preparation is very important. If you are, as you said, if you are talking to an audience of 40 or mid 40s or mid 50s. So we cannot, they may be, if they are educated, we cannot be fooled them. And also coming back, there are so many youngsters in the audience also. Unlike in the past, the youngsters are also very knowledgeable, because today we are living in the digital world. So maybe the people of the youngsters are better knowledgeable than the 40s or 50s, because they know everything through digital gadgets, computer, internet, every facility they are enjoying. So they are also very knowledgeable. If we make a mistake, when we are speaking to them, if we make a mistake, they easily notify or identify those mistakes. So the preparation is very important while delivering a speech. If you are talking to a topic on any subject, you should prepare in advance and anticipate questions based on your speech from the audience. So preparation is very important, I think.
Okay.
Prior preparation.
Okay. So, as I understand, you are saying that preparation is very important. We have to know our audience, and based on the audience and the content that we have to deliver, we have to be thoughtful, and we have to deliver our speech in those lines based on the age group that we are targeting. Okay. I think fair enough. I have a question to Hemant. Do you think schools play an important role in making sure that the kids or the generations that are getting passed out from their schools are good in communication? Do you think that schools have to add this in one of their curriculums, saying that communication should be taken as a separate topic? Just a question which I think will be controversial, where I'm just pitching an idea that apart from all the subjects that we have, we have seen that there are separate classes of arts, then there are sports classes, then there are some extracurricular activities that also happens. Can we have a separate, completely separate classes or a course on completely on communication, where we just don't focus on how we communicate or speak, but also a very important aspect which is the listening skills? I think should school inculcate these kind of courses where they talk about the communication, pitching the ideas of speaking, how the people should um, speak in public speaking, and also about their body languages plus the listening skills. So I'm pitching this question to you, Hemant, about the three aspects. One about the curriculum to be added, then the body language in public speaking, and the listening skills as a part of curriculum in schools. Will it play an important role, and do you think this is important?
Yes, yes. It is very important because, as you said, in schools, this has to be taught in schools. If you see it in the Indian education system, the importance is given more for academics. But what is the use of academics if the students are not able to present it effectively? If you see the world today, it has become very competitive. Um, in order to get yourself an admission in the top institute, you have to go through the interview, you have group discussions, and definitely just mere intelligence is not enough. That intelligence, if it has to be put in an effective way, you need to be an effective communicator. And hence, schools should give importance. There should be a separate class for communication. As you rightly said, how to communicate, body language, how to speak in front of a public, how to speak with your colleagues, with your the fellow people, how to master the communication skills based on the particular situation, how to change your tone in the way you communicate. Because communication is there in various ways. It is not only public speaking, but also one-to-one communication, team building communication. So definitely schools need to focus. There should be a separate subject for communication, written communication and oral communication. And as far as oral communication is concerned, not only communicating but also listen. Yes, because only the best listener will be an effective communicator. So I personally vouch for the idea that there should be some reform as far as this particular aspect of school education is concerned. Communication should be taught right from the school stage, so
Okay,
that they don't have the fear of attending an interview or attending a group discussion or even public speaking publicly in front of people.
right. Thank you so much, Hemant, for your ideas. And I think yes, I think it's important because we have seen in the schools there are a lot of things people learn. I think these soft skills plays a very important role, not only in the professional but in personal life as well. How to communicate to your parents, even if you demand something from your parents. Maybe if you are not aligning with their ideas of taking science as your future career, maybe you want to opt for commerce. How do you communicate them well with clear cut ideas that this is why I want to do this, this is my point of interest. I think if we have clear good enough ideas we are put in front of our parents or anybody else, I think it will be better for the students and also for their curriculum, for their career as well. And also in their personal life, along with their parents, they will be all be aligned and they can choose their good career path for their future as per their wish. So my next question is to Mr. Suresh. We have seen that communication is important, but do you think language plays an important role? Because we have seen there are a lot of people who keep pets as well, maybe cats and dogs, and the owners of those pets are able to communicate very well with them. So do you think language is very important, or is just a gesture or the tone or the way we are behaving in front of our people to whom we are trying to communicate is more important than just language? Just it's just a part of communication to whom they understand the language. But if you go to other parts of other countries, maybe you're visiting something, you have gone for a trip, and people in China don't understand English. But still we are able to communicate. So how do you think that this language is not as important as it should be? Because anyway, we are able to communicate with our pets as well. So what do you think on this point?
Language also plays a pivotal role in communication, because when you are communicating with human beings, language plays an important role. If I want to communicate with Anupam, then there should be a language, English, Hindi, or Malayalam, or any other language. Then coming back to your question, yes, we are communicating with animals and birds also, pet animals. And even I think there are many mahouts communicating well with their elephants. The elephant understand their mahout. You know mahout,
Yes, yes.
M-A-H-O-U-T,
Yeah.
mahout, than their peer animals. Because when the mahout asks, orders the elephant to stand, the elephant definitely will stand straight, because the animal shows the obedience to his master. So in temple festivals, you can see the mahouts controlling the elephants through communication. And also, if you have pet dogs or cats, you can communicate with them. But regarding human communication, language plays an important role. But as you said, if you are going to China, you may sometimes land in trouble while communicating, because many Chinese do not know English. There also the digital gadgets will come to your rescue. I think there are now Google Translator, such apps are there. So even if you go to China, the language may not be a problem to communicate with them. Similarly, also when they come to India with the different languages and cultures, I don't think they will find any difficulty, because through these digital gadgets they can communicate with Indians. And you can also, I came across with many Indians who earlier visited China before these Google translators, and I asked them, how did you ask the cab drivers to bring you to the destination? Then they said they will show actions. If you want to uh, mention that you want to go to a railway station, then they will whistle and shows that they show the signal of a train railway station. Then the Chinese driver will understand that you are planning to go to a railway station. And if you are planning to go to an airport, you can signal like an airplane or something like that. The signaling also is a way of communication. Then the driver will understand that. So, but when you are talking to native speakers, you can speak in your own language, and the language plays an important role.
Okay, thank you, Suresh, for your ideas. I think the important part over here is we can communicate to anybody. If even pets and animals, we can communicate. We should understand through gestures. We can communicate, but when we have people to whom we have to make our ideas into, we have to have genuine discussions, deep discussions, then of course language will play an important role. But you also touched on a very important part, which is the technology in communication, which is bringing people closer, reducing the barriers of communications, maybe in languages, where people have their own languages. Chinese people speak their own language, they tend to speak more on in their own languages rather than learning the or spending time rather than learning an English language or a foreign language to them. So I think yes, going forward, language will I think will play a key role, but also with the technological advancement, we are also reducing this gap. So, but the basic will remain the same. We have to communicate well, even if we are a Chinese person. I should be able to communicate well in Chinese also. So, we should make people understand the kids right from the kids. We should be able to make them understand that communication is very important, even in any language. Maybe in the native language is also important, but you have to communicate clearly, which can reduce a lot of troubles which can come in your life if you're not communicating clearly. So I think I can vouch for an idea where every now and then we can have some communication without the language, maybe with sign language also we should be able to communicate. That will help us understand that how difficult it is for people who learning the sign language who are not able to speak also uh, can overcome and also are able to communicate well with the person to other person. And this is how the life is. We have to take the challenges, and also even if the person who are not able to speak, we have seen that they have done wonders in their life. There are many examples. So just a question to Hemant, just a last question, then we can wrap it up for today. That what about your idea on the technological advancement? Do you think communication or the learning a language, a specific language, maybe an English language, which we are really focusing on these days to try to communicate with others, will play a key role, and maybe in 10, 15 years from now, where even maybe there can be some gadgets through which, even if we are communicating in our own language, it will real time convert that into a particular language the other person understands. So how do you think this will turn out in 15 or 20 years from now?
No, I think definitely because as we all know, AI is now catching up. It's taking over. So yes, the world will become much. I mean, of course, no doubt, English will have its importance. But as Mr. Suresh was also saying, as you rightly said, the communication will be more. That is, people who don't communicate in English also will be able to communicate on account of the improvements in technology. As Suresh sir was saying, if you can use now the Google Translator even if you go to a foreign country. For instance, one of my business associates, he went to Vietnam or China, I don't know which country, but he wanted to go to a particular restaurant or he wanted to visit a particular factory. So he was able to use, he didn't know Chinese or Vietnamese, but he was able to use that Google tool to get there. So definitely, from say 10 or 15 years from now, I would say that language, you will see more openness. You will see people of different cultures communicating together, becoming more close, bonding, happening much better. It's not. will not be only English that is going to be dominant, but we will see people of all languages. They'll be able to understand, because if you just, for instance, if you take the United Nations, in United Nations, everyone understands. For instance, when Prime Minister Modi was there to give an address, I still remember the International Yoga Day, which he announced in one of the United Nations address. He spoke in Hindi. He didn't speak in English at that time, but everybody sitting representing the various nations, they were able to understand what he spoke, because there was that particular technology where the person from the particular country could get or assimilate what the Honorable Prime Minister was saying in their own language. So this, I think, happened about 10 years ago, if I'm correct. Definitely, in 10 to 15 years' time, technology will definitely make people of all languages to improve communication and bring that closeness. So English, yes, English may not lose its importance, but we will also see people from other languages coming together, and that interaction between English and non-English speaking nations and cultures will happen. Definitely,
Okay.
it is going to happen.
Thank you so much, Hemant. I think the clear-cut gist of your statements is that English will remain important. It will act as a bridge to communicate, or as a, even if the technological advancement is there, we have Google Translate, everything is there. Even for communicating or connecting different people from different backgrounds or different countries, English will remain an important language to be acting as a bridge to join people together in their thoughts and various cultures. So this was an amazing talk with Hemant and Suresh. We had enjoyed talking to you. We enjoyed the podcast. We touched on various aspects of communication, where we also talked about listening skills, about the body language, the adding this as a course in the communication course in the schools, and then how technological advancement in the field of languages is uh, b- uh, is bridging the gap between the different countries. And we also talked about how, even if you are not able to speak about a language, or how we are able to communicate well with pets and animals. So we talked a lot about on this topic, and I hope the audience have enjoyed this podcast. And thanks for listening. And I would like to ask all our subscribers to keep commenting, or maybe if they want a particular topic to be discussed in this podcast, please comments. We can really look into the comments, and we can come up with the topics that you have asked us. And for our new viewers, I would like to ask you to like and subscribe to our channel, so that you can you can understand that we are coming with a new podcast, and you can see the podcast and enjoy your time along with your coffee time, or maybe in your break. Yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you, Mr. Suresh. Thank you, Mr. Hemant.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Bye.
Suresh. Thanks a lot. Bye.